In the debate over illegal immigrants, sanctuary cities, and walls, there's a great deal of existing policy undergoing re-examination. In March, a 17 and 18-year-old who allegedly entered the country illegally and were enrolled in 9th grade were charged with raping a 14-year-old girl at their Maryland school. I spoke with Senator Ron Johnson, chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, about why he sees the case as one of national importance. What is the basis for your concern about what is really a local case?
It's a local case caused by federal government policy in terms of not enforcing our immigration laws, and immigration laws that are creating incentives for children to come in from Central America. But let's also take a look at the reality of this. Of the unaccompanied children, 2/3 are older than 15 years old. 2/3 are males. Only 18% are less than 12 years old. So the unaccompanied children really aren't children. They're young males. Some of them are young men. And in this case, you had a 17 and 18-year-old, one from El Salvador, one from Honduras, who brutally and repeatedly raped a 14-year-old girl because they were in 9th grade with her. The fact is that once you get here as an unaccompanied child, and that's I guess if you're less than 18, you're a child, you get to stay here. You get a notice to appear. You don't even set a court date. Those types of tragedies, that tragedy with that 14-year-old girl could have been prevented if we really enforced our laws and if we end these incentives for illegal immigration.
The rapes at this point are just an allegation. Obviously, there will be a court process for this.
Yes.
And one of the lawyers, I believe, said that his client had a consensual meeting in the bathroom with the young girl.
A 17 or 18-year-old young man does not have consensual sex with a 14-year-old girl in 9th grade. I'm sorry, that is not a defense. What
are some of the questions that you've posed, and to whom?
Well, I want the alien file. I want to find out exactly. One of them is, of a majority age, and so we can get more information on that individual. I want to know exactly what ICE, what DHS, Customs and Border Protection, anybody who had contact with this individual, what happened? I mean, how did this individual end up in 9th grade in Rockville, Maryland, where he could perpetrate this brutal crime?
In the end, if people look at this case and say, you can't punish the honest illegal immigrants who come here and need to be in school while their cases are being adjudicated just because there are some bad ones, what would you say?
I don't want to punish, people that are here innocently or legally. But the fact of the matter is, we have got to take a look at our laws that incentivize, for example, people spend a year's worth of their salaries in Central America and send their daughters on a very dangerous journey. Some of them don't get here in time. Some of them get caught up in human trafficking. They get sold as sex slaves. A lot of really bad things happen because of the incentives we create in our law. So we have to take a look at our law and those incentives, and our goal should be to stop the flow. We've just continued to have the surge. Last year was almost as high as the crisis year of 2014. It just wasn't making headlines, and so it just goes unnoticed. So we've become very good at apprehending, processing, and dispersing. And we dispersed 2 young men, 17, 18-year-olds, into Rockville, Maryland, where they brutally and repeatedly raped a 14-year-old girl. We need to understand that reality, and we have to end that.
The accused teens remain in custody. Both have been charged as adults.